So planting season is here, and I'm getting a lot of questions about soil. So I thought I'd do a video on bag soil, what the differences are, where to use them, stuff like that. To start out with, this is just bag soil. You don't need to use bag soil. You can use almost anything. You can use aged horse poop. You can use manure. I actually have a bag of dairy manure here. I mean, there's 1,000 ways to make soil for your garden. Today we're just going to be talking about bag soils, and as you can see, most of these are Miracle-Gro. I'm not necessarily promoting Miracle-Gro. In fact, there are other ones that are better. Happy Frog is probably the best. My local hardware store here didn't have any of that, but it is by far the best. It's also by far the most expensive. I've also used Kellogg soil. I have a very contentious video where people debate the merits of that. So Miracle-Gro, whatever you want to use, most of them are similar. This one right here, Stay Green, I have also used. I don't particularly care for that, but Miracle-Gro is pretty much your generic bag soil you can get at your big box store, so I thought I'd use that. All right, let's get into this. To start with, we're going to start with topsoil, and topsoil is basically just dirt. So there's no organic matter in it. All it is dirt. In fact, this is, it even says on the bag, you know, just basically used for filling holes. So if you put this in your garden, you're gonna have lots of trouble because you're gonna have trouble with the water because it's gonna get really compacted and there's absolutely no nutrients in it. Now you could use this as a base if you wanted to make your own and add, you know, horse poop and steer manure and whatever else, but this has nothing in it. You can't use this just as it is at all. Zero. Cannot use it. The next one up is what they call garden soil, and garden soil is basically topsoil with what they call forestry products, which is, as you can see, just wood chips. This is your standard soil that you can use in your garden or your raised bed. It has some nutrients in it. You can actually get some that have a little bit of fertilizer built into it. So this is a pretty good soil to use for general purpose in your garden or in your raised bed. The next step up, they have a new specific product called raised bed soil. And if you can see this, this is takes garden soil to the next level. It's got a little more stuff in it, a little more organic matter, so it's even better for using in a raised bed. So it's really good to use in a raised bed. I usually mix garden soil and raised bed soil, but this is really good stuff. It's probably one of the better things to use in your garden. So the next thing we have here is potting soil, and potting soil takes it to the next level. You can see all these little white dots in it. That's even more stuff that they have in the soil. So it's really, really good and used for container gardening. So if you have stuff in pots, hence the name potting soil, it's perfect for that because it's really going to help the nutrients and the water of something in a pot. So if you have container gardening, if you're going to do container gardening, you have to use some sort of potting mix. Maybe a little bit of garden soil, but you really want to focus on the potting mix if you're going to be doing container garden or those little grow bags or anything like that. You really want to have a lot of potting mix in it. The final thing is seed starting medium, and as you can see, this stuff is really fine. There's very, very little wood chips in it. Very, very fine. And if you're going to start seeds, don't start it with potting mix or raised bed soil. You have to start it to be successful, you know, to give yourself the best chance. Start it with seed starting mix. It's just the best thing because when you're starting seeds, if you have chunks in it, you know, your seeds can get hidden underneath them, especially if you're doing little seeds like a tomato. I mean, a tomato seed would get completely hidden underneath something that small. So you really want this fine seed starting mix to start your seeds. Now, this stuff is really expensive, so just use it to start your seeds. This stuff is Next, as far as expensive, so if you're not doing container gardening, you really don't need to do this. If you're going to be doing raised beds, this is probably the best product for you. It's designed for raised beds. And then if you're going to be doing just any kind of in the ground gardening, you can use either one of these products. The raised bed one tends to be a little bit more expensive. I've had really good luck with just using garden soil. And then what I normally do is I use the garden soil, and then I'll actually add some sort of manure to it, whether it's bagged dairy manure or aged horse poop. And I have a source here that has aged horse poop. And the key to remember about if you're using horse or cow poop is if it smells like soil, it's aged enough to use. If it doesn't smell like soil and it still smells like poop, don't put it in your garden. It's still going to be too hot. So you could do, again, this is about bag soil, but while we're here, you could use topsoil with a mix of bagged dairy manure and some aged horse poop, maybe even some straw, some peat moss, and you can make your own soil. If you want to do it easy and in your garden, just use garden soil. You'll be in really good shape. And remember, you still have to feed your plants. You're still going to have to fertilize them on whatever schedule the plant requires. And then again, if you have pots or container gardening, you definitely want to use this. It's going to really help you with the moisture and the nutrients. It's really the best way. And again, if you're going to start seeds, use seed starting mix. It's just by far the best thing for that. So there's a quick overview. If you have any questions, leave a comment, or if you're in the area, if you're in the Fowler, Southern Colorado area, stop by, and we'll love to talk to you.